In this video, I'm going to have a close look at a mouthpiece by Mr. Arnold Brilhart. If you haven't heard of Arnold Brilhart, I suggest you deep dive down that rabbit hole and check out who I mean, because this guy is very famous for making very good mouthpieces. Now, the mouthpiece model in question was one of his lesser popular models for some reason, and it's the Brilhart Level Air. It was a stainless steel mouthpiece, and it had quite a unique look and a bit of a different sound to his regular mouthpieces. It was classed as a more bright mouthpiece. So this is the Level Air mouthpiece. As you can see, it's got this very distinct look, and this was produced between the 60s and the 70s. I think this was his attempt to throw something into the market which could compete with the likes of the Duke-Offs. Now, I'm just speculating when it comes to the whole market strategy, but this is the vibe I'm getting because all of his other mouthpieces were a little bit darker in vibe, and what a coincidence. Duke-Off was making brighter mouthpieces round about the 60s and the 70s, just when these started to get produced. They were made in that sort of era, so this is what it looks like, and you can see it's got this very distinct large bite plate at the front there. A closer look at the bite plate, you can see from the side profile it has a very flat, stumpy front there. It's quite an interesting shape. It's a very strange looking thing. The distinct features that it has are this kind of angular look, and inside you have this large, long baffle. Look at that. With quite slim rails along the side there. Now inside the mouthpiece you've got quite a large chamber, which is there. So imagine the typical Otto-Link players of the day would be looking at something like this and thinking it looks like a space rocket, because it's very streamlined, very angular, very different in design to your normal, of that era mouthpiece. To the more traditional style players of the era, this must have looked very modern, very futuristic. It also has some writing on this, which on the base of this shank, it says designed by Arnold Brilhart. You can see it just there. It's a bit hard to see it if I just held it up in front of the camera. And on the other side of the shank, right there, it has the size number and a long number. Now, a little fun fact about that number, it's actually the date of production when this mouthpiece was made. 12/11/79, that's the 12th of November 1979, that's when this little bad boy was made. And this particular model is an 8-star. So let's get a read on this and give it a hoot, see what it's like. A 2.5 Van Doren V16 reed, and use my trusty old Yamaha 62 purple logo from the 1980s. Let's give it a whirl. And I'll speak to you lot after I've gave it a whirl. This mouthpiece, which is still on my beautiful Yamaha 62 tenor. It does look a bit different to a normal 62 because I delacquered it. This saxophone has been with me for many, many years, since the early 90s, and I've delacquered it and I've basically just blitzed it and rebuilt it a few times, and now it looks like this. But back to the mouthpiece. And this is the typical mouthpiece that I play, which is a Dave Gardella Brecker model. So these were marketed as kind of brighter mouthpieces, but they are definitely not as bright as what I'm used to. Of the time would have been quite a bright, powerful mouthpiece. It's a very nice mouthpiece. It's got more of a warmer sound than I anticipated. Has a bit more of a mellow sound, but it does have a little bit of an edge as well. Certainly a lot more of a cutting edge than mouthpieces that were coming around of that era at that time. This is definitely not a paint peeler, and it's not an overly bright mouthpiece. It's got a happy balance between warmth and edge, but there's enough cutting edge, and I can see for the era that would have been quite a powerful mouthpiece. This bite plate with this wedgy, squared off, blocky bit at the front, they're my technical terms, by the way. Learn them, then you'll be a total professor of everything. This felt very different because of that squared off edge. My head was telling me that this should be tapered down there. So I guess that's why I've seen over the years some of these mouthpieces have been kind of filed down on the bite plate area into a point. That makes complete sense to me now. I was wondering why people would do that, and now I know, because of the physical feel. It does feel a bit chunky, but once you get used to it, it's okay. So I'm assuming the players of that era, when they wanted a bit more of a cutting edge, they would grab a hold of a Duke-Off or a Berg Larsen, or maybe something like this. I can see where it has its place. The Arnold Brilhart Level Air from 1979. It's not a bad mouthpiece. This is quite an interesting mouthpiece. Check them out if you get the chance. Give one a try. Maybe it's the sort of vibe you're looking for. So anyway, thank you very much for checking out this video. If you are new to my channel, you can do me a huge favour. It costs you absolutely nothing. Click on the subscribe button or click on the like button at least. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you very much. You know the drill by now. You will catch me and my stupid head in the next video. Have a great day.